Welcome back, everybody, to another episode of Caravan of Garbage, where we're wrapping up our look at Superman. He's on television.
That's right.
And we're going to take a look at every episode of Smallville. All 10 seasons, Mason.
What?
You watched some?
Yeah, when they originally aired, and then again now. So I'm ready.
You're up to date.
Make a 20-minute video on 10 seasons of a naughty's sci-fi comic book superhero rom-com.
Yeah.
They've nailed the formula here, I think.
I mean, as we talked about, these shows always reflect the era, and this is like Dawson's Creek, Felicity, but also Monster of the Week, X-Files, Buffy.
Yeah, Buffy, for sure. Yeah, absolutely. Oh, also, just to be clear, we have covered this before. We talked about the early Justice League episode.
I deleted that video.
What?
This is the definitive work.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, so don't even look for it.
Okay.
Don't even bother. It's not going to be linked below.
That's right. Okay, now to be clear, we're going to cover a couple of episodes. Just jokes aside, you know we love to joke. Mm-hmm. Jokes aside for a moment, then we get back to the jokes. But we're going to cover a few episodes. We're going to cover the pilot, of course, and we're going to cover one in the middle, season 2, and then the big 2-part finale. We're not going to cover the one where he gets so horny that he develops heat vision and it erupts from his body. We've all seen the clips. We've all seen it twice.
And that's real as well. That really happened to Tom Welling.
That's exactly right. And what is notable, if you go and you watch season 1, the first episode of season 1, and then like the last 2 episodes, the big finish to season 10.
Wow.
It is so jarring. It's like watching...
It's almost like you're not supposed to watch it like that.
No, but we did, and you should.
And you should leave a like on this video.
And it was like watching the last episode of Gilmore Girls, but like Rory is now liaising with the president because an asteroid is about to crash on a Stars Hollow or whatever.
Barack Obama.
And you're like, yep, I guess. Why not? Because it's still got the exact same look to it.
It does, yeah.
You know?
Well, let's start here, Mason, because the idea was that this was going to be a young Bruce Wayne series.
That's right. You'd know if you watched our previous video, now delete.
That's right.
But of course...
there is a guy who turns up in this series who you think might be Batman, but then it turns out to be Adam Fight or whatever.
Yeah, that's right.
That character they bring in. Is this Batman?
Adam
No.
Dark Fight.
It's a different
Adam
guy.
Dark Fight. Well, instead, as we learn, obviously, the Batman in this, his non-powered kind of rival in this, in crime fighting and, you know, love triangles or whatever, is Oliver Queen.
Yes.
Who, even by season 10, is still there in his hoodie with his Oakleys on.
Ooh, yeah.
You know, just firing 3 arrows at a time and being like, well, that's all I can do. Clark, if you can handle that asteroid or apocalypse planet or whatever.
I don't even have a computer, probably.
Yeah, that's right.
Yeah. So famously, this started as No Tights, No Flights. That was from Goff and Miller when they pitched the series to Warner Brothers. And the idea was that, we're reducing the Man of Steel to the bare essentials. And that was also worked into Tom Welling's contract. So whenever they did try to go, hey, let's put him in the suit, he was like, no, it's also in my contract that I'm not going to wear this suit. His opinion on that has now changed.
Also, at the time, he didn't want to wear the suit.
No,
Not even a cool naughties version?
We'll talk about it later where he is now, but no, he was very much against it, that this is a Clark Kent series and we'll do everything else. Okay. I mean, we also know that when he returned for the CW and whatever. We'll get into it. But of course, there are some other DC alumni that turn up in this. Annette O'Toole, who played Lana Lang in Superman 3, plays his Earth Mother in this.
That's right.
John Glover is Lionel Luthor. He played the Riddler in Batman the Animated Series, and Dr. Jason Woodrue in Batman and Robin.
The Floronic Man.
Correct, sort of.
Yeah.
And then there's just a bunch of other guest stars like Terrence Stamp, Margot Kidder, Helen Slater, Terry Hatcher, Dean Cain, Linda Carter. People you would recognize from various DC programs.
Let me tell you, I recognized all of them.
I bet. So the pilot's interesting, Mason.
Oh boy, is it ever.
Because it was originally supposed to air in September of 2001. But then, of course, something big happened then. It was a big 9/11 because Mark Wahlberg wasn't on the plane, unfortunately.
That's right.
He would have stopped that. His words.
He didn't say he would stop it. He said it wouldn't have gone down that way.
Yeah.
So I maintain it would have gone worse. Somehow.
So they thought, well, let's not have Smallville be showered with meteors. They pushed it back to October. The opening episode...
Because nobody was thinking about it by October.
Nah, it was over, basically.
Yeah.
The episode, it broke Warner Brothers' record for the most number of viewers for a series debut. This was huge. And I love the idea of Clark's entrance into Smallville just being death and destruction.
Pretty cool.
Like he's bringing that with him. It's obviously not his fault, but there's guilt associated with that. Lana's parents, of course, get flattened by a meteor.
They do, and just murked it in an instant, no reaction whatsoever. And I don't mean to be cruel, but in a special effect that I think in the present day you could replicate on your phone.
There's a really good car stunt in this when it goes off the bridge and you see the Tom Welling stunt double twist in the air. That's all really good. If I had a complaint about this pilot, is that they're all supposed to be 14 years old.
Yeah, and some of them look 14. I think Kristen Kirk...
She was like 19
I think she looks like a young teen in this. But yeah, I mean...
Tom Welling is 24.
And he looks 24.
Yeah.
He looks at 24 and a guy who's working out to have abs for Hollywood.
That's right, yeah. And it's really funny how they're like, look at this weird dork. And it's like, he's the best looking guy at this school. By like a long way.
That's right. I did like the fact, and I'd forgotten about this at the time, but I liked the fact that Lana Lang wears the kryptonite necklace.
Yes.
And he doesn't know that is, at that point, a weakness to him. So every time he tries to talk to her, he's like, "Good, I'm falling over." You know what I mean?
Falling over.
Yeah. I mean, it'd be funny if he just died in math class one day. And like, we don't know. He sort of turned very green, and then he turned to dust.
Yeah.
Oh, well.
Oh, well.
Oh, well. He was weird anyway, wasn't he?
Yeah.
Why was he so weird and good looking? I don't understand. Good riddance.
It was a weird town, Mason. It was a weird time because, of course, also with the meteor shower comes kryptonite.
That's right.
Now, famously, of course, the first episode we get Electricity Man, where's kryptonite electricity powers. And for the longest time, in particular the first season, this became the show.
A real Monster of the Week situation.
Absolutely.
A real, like you said, Buffy, X-Files. The supporting characters have a kind of a study room with the wall of weird and all the kind of the bizarre goings-on of Smallville. You know, I don't think he ever fights guy who loses a finger on one hand and gains a finger on another hand, man. But he should have.
Absolutely. Well, Mason, if you don't mind, let's just have a look at the season 1 episodes and how each one plays out.
Okay.
Just very quickly.
There's certainly a bug man.
Episode 2. Greg Arkin gets into a car accident with his meteor rock-enhanced insects. The resulting attack transforms him into a half-man, half-insect creature.
And again, and maybe we've mentioned this before, either on this channel or on our podcast, The Weekly Planet, every episode from this point forward is just people scratching their heads going, well, this person was killed with a big swarm of insects. Who do you think...
I'm a bug man!
Do you think it's the guy?
I'm a bug man!
Do you think it's the guy who lives at the edge of town and he's obsessed with bugs?
I got bug powers!
And he collects all the bugs?
I'm eating the bugs and the rocks!
Oh my god, it's the bug man!
That's me! Episode 3, a meteor rock-infused sauna endows Coach Arnold with pyrokinesis.
Wait a second. Want to endow him with steam power?
No, pyrokinesis. Episode 4, Clark discovers that Tina Greer, a young woman infected with meteor rock radiation, can morph into anyone she wants. Episode 5, Sean Calvin falls into the frozen lake and emerges with an insatiable hunger for heat, thanks to the meteor rocks at the bottom of the lake.
Oh, is that the one where Clark gets so horny? Or is that season 2?
I don't know. Episode 6, Harry Bolston, an elderly man at a nursing home, falls into a meteor rock-filled pond. Stop falling into stuff.
Koi powers?
Which reverses the aging process, and he does murders.
Oh, okay. With his incredible youth?
Yeah, I guess.
I'm just a baby. Come here into my crib. Bang, and then he hits him with a rattle.
Episode 7, Jodie Melville, Amy Adams, is tired of being overweight, so she creates her own diet, which consists of meteor rock-infected vegetables. The new diet causes her to shed weight faster than she can handle, which forces her to suck human fat to satisfy her hunger. Episode 8, Luther Corp is experimenting with meteor rocks, and overexposure to the rocks has caused an employee, Earl Jenkins, to develop violent seizures. Not a superpower, but alright. Episode 9, a corrupt cop something. Not related to meteors.
Oh, wow.
It's one of the rare exceptions.
Wow.
Episode 10, something kryptonite rose, invisible person. Episode 11, Bob Rickman has the ability to bend others to his will because of an incident with the meteor rocks years earlier.
Okay.
Episode 12, during a field trip, lightning strikes Clark and classmate Eric Summers while Eric is holding a piece of the meteor rock.
Body switch?
He's fine, but he has Clark's powers.
Oh.
Clark doesn't have any powers.
What?
But then they switch back because he has to be Superman for a minute at the very end.
Yeah, nice.
Episode 13, 3 ex-jocks are using meteor rock-saturated tattoos to give themselves the ability to pass through solid objects.
Rock-powered jocks?
Using their abilities, they begin robbing banks. Episode 14, Lex gets kidnapped, but it's not actually kryptonite related. It's related to his shady past and also acts as foreshadowing for his inevitable turn to villainy. That wasn't rocks. That one wasn't rocks.
That wasn't rocks, but it rocks.
That's right. Episode 15, Dr. Stephen Hamilton uses meteor rocks to resurrect a toxic flower named Nicodemus.
Just remember this. All these old shows had 22 episode seasons.
So
just keeps going.
21. And if someone is sprayed with flowers toxic mist, they lose their inhibitions. Ooh. That's a horny one. Mm-hmm. Episode 16, Ryan James, a young boy who can read minds, is forced to use his ability to help his step-parents rob stores.
Wait a second, did he get meteor? Is that from meteor rocks?
I wrote, but I think he can just do it, and it's not because he got a green rock stuck in his ear or something.
Right then.
Yeah, I think he just did it.
Yeah, okay.
Yeah. Because,
Sure.
you know, it's a metaverse, humans,
kind of.
etc.
Kind
There's
of.
Green Lanterns, maybe. I don't know.
There's hoodies.
There's hoodies. Episode 17, Tyler Randall, while trying to assist the suicide of his ailing mother, accidentally falls out of a window, and a piece of meteor rock becomes embedded in his wrist as he dies. When the coroner removes the rock from his wrist, Tyler becomes reanimated. Now, whenever Tyler touches someone or something, they instantly incinerate and die.
God, that one was so weird.
Yeah, he fell out a window because he was trying to kill his mum.
But she wanted him to kill him.
Assisted suicide.
And then he got the rock in his wrist.
The rock fell in his
pulling
wrist.
the rock out of his
And
wrist.
then he
brought
came
him back.
alive from the. Yeah, that's correct.
Oh my god.
Episode 18, Sasha Woodman is able to control bees via enhanced pheromones.
Boy, I wonder who's doing all the bee murders.
It's me, Bee Lady.
No, I don't think it is. Let's do more research. I think it's the bee lady.
She was stung by a kryptonite-infected hive.
Yeah, okay.
Yeah. Episode 19. After a hit-and-run accident destroys his drawing hand, Justin Gaines is left with an unexpected gift of telekinesis. Although kryptonite is never explicitly seen, Chloe and Lana later acknowledge him as a meteor freak.
Yeah, it was probably kryptonite, whatever.
Probably. Episode 20. An explosion near meteor rocks gives Lana Lang the ability to see through other person's eyes. Lana watches through the stranger's eyes as they kidnap Chloe. Episode 21. The finale. 3 tornadoes happen.
Huh, interesting.
And that's season 1 of Smallville. In a
Incredible.
nutshell. Anyway, to move past that, season 2, that's when they start to develop more of the lore of the universe. There are still freaks of the week.
Absolutely.
But they've got things like,
They're called the bloody viewers.
we got us and everybody who likes the show.
That's right.
So Chris Reeve appears
That's right.
in this episode, and he's the one to tell Clark of his real origin, which I think is a wonderful way to do that.
Hello, Clark. I'm the only good billionaire. Don't be alarmed. I know you would be alarmed.
Yeah, you don't believe me.
Because I'm a billionaire.
Yeah.
So I want to, suck out your virgin blood, and put it in my body to
Yeah.
live forever. And that's the most normal thing that I do. But actually, I'm different. I'm different to that.
They're not doing that to Chris Reeve in this show.
No.
Absolutely not at this point.
No.
He's wonderful in this, and I think it's a really nice passing of the torch. Chris Reeve said he was skeptical of the show at first, but he said the acting and the special effects and all of that were really remarkable, and Tom Welling is doing an amazing job, like carrying on the tradition. So that's great that he.
When's
gave
he
it
going to be in the
blessing.
costume? Shut up, Christopher Reeve. Shut up and get out of here.
He also used that episode as a way to raise money for his foundation, for spinal cord research, and I think that's all wonderful and good. He does make a second appearance in another episode as well, so that's great and good stuff, Mason.
I agree.
Anyway, just to jump to the finale, I guess.
Yes, that's right.
This is the big one, Mason.
Right.
So at this point, budget cuts meant that Al Gough and Miles Miller, they left the show.
Just couldn't pay them.
Well, that was at the end of season 7, and they were replaced by Kelly Sodas and Brian Peterson. And you can tell by this point that a lot of this is shot on sound stages, indoors. It loses the cinematic nature of just being outside, I feel.
Oh, yeah,
at this
okay.
point, it feels like the whole thing in a cupboard.
Now, at this point, a lot of changes have been made.
Oh my, well, Lana's gone.
Lana's gone. We got Lois Lane appeared somewhere in season 4,
Yep.
I believe.
Erica
there
Durant.
was some crossover, but then
Yeah.
there can be only one. Obviously,
right.
So they got rid of them.
Pete's gone.
Pete's gone.
Jimmy Olsen's dead.
But then there's another Jimmy Olsen.
And he also played one of the freaks of the week or whatever. He played Clark Kent Powers Man.
And his Iceman.
And his
Or
Iceman.
his Quantum Break.
His
I'm
Quantum
not sure.
Break,
one
man.
of them. Good,
Yeah.
good on them, those guys. So there was maybe we should cover this episode at some point, but there was a Jimmy Olsen.
Yeah.
And then that Jimmy Olsen is killed. And you're like, well, how's this going to work in modern day Superman continuity? Well, actually, he's got an identical brother who's like, I'm going to honor this guy by becoming Jimmy Olsen, and I'll change my name to Jimmy Olsen.
Do you think that's why Zack Snyder killed his Jimmy Olsen?
Probably.
To bring back the brother of Jimmy Olsen?
Oh, you thought he would kill that character and then just another actor would appear on the...
Or
in
the same,
movie.
whatever.
I mean, maybe.
Cool.
Who knows what's going on in that guy's mind?
Yeah.
You know?
At this point as well, Lex Luthor has stepped away. Michael Rosenbaum was like, I'm done with this. He did make a few appearances, but he comes back for this. And you might notice that his head is much bigger. Because...
What? I didn't notice that.
Well, he was shaving his head.
Yes.
This entire time.
Yeah, I know. I was just thinking that the other day. No, I was thinking one of the most powerful moves a man can do is to be publicly bald for a long time and then just be like, I was shaving my head the whole time. I can just grow hair. What do you think about that? Oh, so this is a wig. This is
It's a bald cap, yeah.
Right,
And you
okay.
can notice, especially if you see the behind
wig.
yeah,
It's
yeah,
a reverse wig.
It's a bald wig. Especially if you see the behind the scenes and he's sitting there at an interview. He's just got this big light bulb head.
I did not notice him.
No, they light it really well in
Yeah.
the series. It's generally pretty good. He's got a sister.
So that's Tess Mercer, who is
Yes.
revealed to be Lex Luthor's sister. Lionel Luthor is, I guess, been making more and more appearances.
Yeah, that's right.
And now Darkseid is here.
Yeah. And it ends in a big wet fight where wet Lionel Luthor Darkseid fights Clark Kent. And then he has to stop a big
Well, I mean,
apocalypse.
just prior to that, of course, Green Arrow kills Granny Goodness, Desard, and Glorious Godfrey, 3 of the new gods.
Oh, yeah.
With 3 arrows.
Pretty good shot, though.
Just 3 real arrows.
I mean, they were
3 regular arrows.
They were inhabiting their bodies. I assume they didn't. He just severed the connection.
So
right?
he just killed 3
killed
humans.
3 regular people. Yeah, that's
well,
what happened
good.
there.
That
Yeah.
makes sense and good.
Sure.
But the finale begins with a framing story, which I feel is largely unnecessary, where Chloe is reading a comic book to a child. I assume her child.
Hers and Oliver Queen's, I think. Yeah.
Okay, right. And it's just the story of Clark Kent as Superman,
Yep.
which suggests that his identity is now public in this universe.
Apparently, yeah.
Right?
I mean, unless she wrote it and was like, "Don't tell anyone this."
I photocopied this down at Officeworks.
I mean, we'll talk about where he ends up. I mean, she's not much older either.
Yeah.
So I don't know. I mean, he gives it up pretty quick. Again,
Yeah,
we will talk about
But then
it.
it cuts back to the present day, and at this point, Clark and Lois, they were going to get married, but now they're not going to get married. In I would say, a rare reversal, because, the hero is always like, well, actually, we can't get married because I'd put you in danger. And I
I'm
don't wanna do
Tobey
that."
Maguire.
Right. But in this, Lois is like, I don't want to get in your way.
Yeah.
You're always jumping about. Maybe one day you'll fly. I don't want to get in the way of that.
I know you can't stand to fly.
That's right.
I'm not that naive.
There we go. It's good stuff.
Isn't it just?
Yeah.
And then, of course, eventually, finally,
Yes.
he goes to the Fortress of Solitude, and his ghost dad, because his dad has died. He turns up and he goes, "You're cool." And here's Brandon Routh's Superman suit, or the S at least, and some
Yeah.
of the rest of it.
Yeah, and we'll CGI the rest. Don't worry about it.
Yeah.
You'll never be in like a. You'll never be in a full close-up,
He
full-body
never
shot.
wore the full suit, and that's a big point of contention with a lot of people that watch the show. I didn't even get this far, and when I saw that, I'm like, I'm so glad I didn't stick with this. Now I understand the decision, but 10 years is a long time.
Such a long time.
It's fine when you do the pilot and then you watch the episode in season 2 and then you jump to the end. It feels like no time has passed at all.
That's right.
But this is totally fine.
I think everybody at the time should have done it this way. Wait till it's free on a streaming service that didn't exist then.
Yeah.
And just watch whatever you please.
Absolutely. And I don't know, I guess it was the era, but it does feel weird to use the Brandon Routh design. I mean, it does also use the John Williams score at that point. And also there's other motifs of it.
That's
through
right.
the
And
series.
then, the planet of apocalypse is approaching Earth and it's going to destroy Earth. So then he writes the president's plane and then he just does something.
Yeah.
And then it
goes
the
away.
The planet goes
sorry,
away.
sorry.
I guess he pushed it.
Yeah.
How did he finally learn to fly, James?
I think
Foo Fighter style.
I think he could, right?
Yeah,
Like,
he always
believed in
could.
himself.
Is that it? Because what happens is he goes to the Fortress of Solitude or whatever. No, wait.
He's flown before.
Yeah, he
at
has
this
flown
point,
before
yeah.
a bunch of times. He's always being taken over by a Kryptonian.
But I think he
mind or
could
something.
fly at this point also.
No, I don't think he could.
No?
I think that's the because what happens is he fights wet Lionel Luthor in that barn, and then Lionel Luthor just shoves him or whatever, and then he's flying in the air, and then he's like, "I'm just going to remember all my memories somewhat," and then he remembers all the events from Smallville seasons 1 through 10.
Yeah.
And then he's like, "Oh, within me is the power to fly," and then he just does
Oh,
fly.
you're
I
probably
think
right,
that was
actually.
supposed to be the one there.
Yeah, you might be right. And also Lex Luthor, speaking of memories, he forgets all his memories. That's
very
why he doesn't
convenient.
know that Clark Kent is Superman, even though he saw it a lot. Because his sister gave him a nanovirus or something.
Maybe.
That erased his memory, but not
Yeah.
all of it. Some of it.
But also,
only.
he was dead, but
Yes.
they brought him back with clone bits.
Yeah.
The clones were mostly bad, but he salvaged all the good bits, and then he put them together in a one clone. But then the clone wasn't ready.
It wasn't doing it.
It wasn't doing it because it needed a heart, and then Lionel Luthor was like, Tess, I'm going to take your heart. But then
Darkseid intervenes.
he does intervene.
Wet Lionel Luthor Darkseid.
That's exactly right, yeah.
Yeah, God.
So he's back, but then he's lost his memory somewhat.
Yeah.
And then he wins the presidency in a, quite frankly, very unprofessional all-white ensemble. I didn't like that at all. Remember when Obama wore that tan suit?
Worst thing he ever did.
That's right.
Aside from all of his war crimes.
Yeah.
I want to talk about the future of this and how it does continue in
right.
various forms and might even continue beyond that. But before we
Ooh.
do that, let's do Trivia Small. This is the trivia section of the show where we go, oi,
Oh, yeah.
listen, all right?
Listen.
This isn't that important, but we'd love you to listen.
Stop what you're doing. No, we demand it.
You have to do it.
Stop it.
Yeah.
Stop what you're doing.
At the start, it's like there's a newspaper that says Queen Industry CEO missing, and that's a fun call forward or back.
In the pilot.
Yeah, it's in the newspaper. It's the newspaper's reading on the helicopter before it crashes, and Lex Luthor gets kryptonite baldness.
Yeah, he was a funny little ginger child, wasn't he?
For a minute, yeah.
Imagine if they were like, we're gonna go with the ginger Lex Luthor for this entire show. You think he'd stick around for 10 seasons?
I think so.
Maybe he would.
The name of the Smallville high school paper is The Torch. And that's the name of the school paper where Joe Shuster and Jerry Siegel, Superman's creators, that's what they worked on in high school.
I think you'll find that Superman was created by DC Comics.
Yeah, you're right.
Yeah, that large corporation.
Yeah.
They made all that Superman content.
They did. And Frank Miller did some stuff at some point as well.
Oh, hell yeah.
Yeah, you know?
Some of the best.
All-star Batman.
Some of the best, most normal stuff.
This is my favorite bit of trivia I think we've ever gotten. And it really, I think, casts a light on certain aspects of the show which you might have found confusing. This is going to help you a lot.
That's good. I'm finally some help.
This was on IMDb Trivia.
The only reason I do this video series is because I've wanted some help. So it'd be nice if I could finally get some.
When Clark Kent was chosen to be the Scarecrow by Whitney Fordman and almost fought him, he was very close to overpowering Whitney with his strength. As he grasped Whitney by his shirt tightly, Clark opened up his shirt by accident and showed the necklace that Lana Lang gave Whitney, giving Whitney the advantage.
So true, isn't it?
Does that help?
It makes a lot of sense now. That also suggests that Whitney's shirt is like made of some sort of lead material.
Yeah, man.
Because wouldn't it just affect him no matter what?
No, I agree.
Maybe Whitney was exposed to some meteor rocks near a lead sheeting company or something, and it turned all his clothes to lead.
Not him, but his clothes.
Just his clothes.
Yes. There is a season 11 of this, and it is a comic book.
Let's watch it on. You said it was.
We can't watch it on. It's got all sorts of stuff. It's got Batman.
Yeah, that's
It's got
right.
Green Lanterns.
Yeah.
It's got all the things that you'd want to see in this series.
Quite an interesting Batman design. It's got the huge logo, if I recall.
Oh, huge logo.
Let's
Big
have a
logo.
look.
Big logo, man.
But it's actually Bruce Wayne. It's not Adam Fight Night or whatever his name was.
No, it's a real guy. Yeah. Also, of course, Erica Durance and Tom Welling appeared in the Arrowverse crossover Crisis on Infinite Earths. At this point, Clark is depowered, and they're raising their children together. Again, Tom Welling decided to come back and do this because he was like, I don't want to wear the Superman costume. People were mad about this because he just gave it up, which also Lex Luthor was mad in the scene.
Right. Mm-hmm.
But I think that is fitting with this version of Clark Kent because he doesn't want to do it. He's so scared of doing anything or making any decisions.
You think that's what it is?
Yeah.
He's got choice paralysis?
Absolutely. So
He just couldn't decide on an outfit. It's been decided for you, Clark.
Yeah. Your ghost dad gave it to you or whatever. Yeah, but Tom Welling has said since then that now that he's got kids, he's willing to put the costume on.
Well, it's too
Dude,
late.
you're late.
You are 10 years plus the rest too late, brother.
Now, there is an animated revival in the works. In 2021, Tom Welling and Michael Rosenbaum, they were developing an animated series with the original cast, including John Glover, Sam Jones III, Kristen Crook, and Erica Durance. One of the exceptions is Alison Mack, due to charges leveled against her, which landed her in jail. That's a whole story. You can look into it. But my God, crook stuff.
Yep.
Crook and unexpected stuff.
And now she's out and she's married to a lovely man named Frank. I don't know if you know that.
The original series showrunners were going to return, but because of what's happening with the DCU, this is on hold. They're establishing a new universe. They don't want to bring back something else like this and confuse things at this point. But James Gunn, he is friends with Michael Rosenbaum. I think there's a very good chance we're going to see more Smallville something.
Well, he's a Smallville fan. He said this on socials recently. He said, and that's why Lex Luthor's company in the movie is called Luthor Corp, not Lex Corp.
In addition to that, John Schneider, who played Jonathan Kent, and now he does movies where if you take his flag down, that's un-American or whatever.
That's right.
He was also Dukes of Hazzard.
He was one of the Duke
One
boys.
of the Duke of Hazzard. He spoke to the Popverse and he said, there would be no Superman, as in Superman 2025, without Smallville. I'm sorry, don't want people to forget, the first thing that ever worked 1,000,000% in this entire world was Smallville, so we should be on their perpetual Christmas list. Nicholas Hoult also said that he used Michael Rosenbaum's version of Lex as his inspiration, and David Corenswet, he grew up watching Tom Welling play Clark Kent. This is what he told EW on Screen Rant. I've also got a lot of physical comparisons to Tom Welling. When I was growing up, he was the Superman. He was on TV every week. I sneaked episodes of Smallville while growing up after school, and I remember seeing Superman Returns in theaters. Since then, I've seen so many iterations and read so much that it all jumbles together and becomes this grand arc. I think if he loves Tom Welling's Clark Kent so much, he should carry a skateboard like he does in the pilot.
Just the once.
Just the once.
And never again.
Never uses it. Wow. What an incredible journey through Smallville. A show that we could definitely come back to and just pick any episode and talk about.
Oh my God, we should pick some episodes at random.
I mean, if you are interested in hearing about Smallville, Michael Rosenbaum and Tom Welling, they do a podcast called Talkville.
That's right.
Or Small Talk.
It's called Talkville because they were going to call it Small Talk, but then the name was taken.
Yeah.
So they called it Talkville, which sounds like the exact kind of dumb thing we would do.
Absolutely.
Remember when we talked about Hawkeye and we called it Talk Talk?
We
Remember
did.
that?
Yes, I do.
Yeah.
Yeah, so that's well worth checking out. I listened to a bunch of episodes leading up to this. But if you want to listen to a bunch of episodes or watch a bunch of episodes of this show early, you can actually head over to bigsandwich.co where they always go up early. Here's a hint towards next week.
Now, one man is about to take the ultimate power trip.
In addition to that, that's not the only thing there. We do video game Let's Plays. We looked at we looked at probably the best Superman game. It's like the opposite of Superman 64. This is the one that people say is the pinnacle. Oh. Is it? Maybe. Is it good?
Oh, no.
That's exclusively at bigsandwich.co if you do want to check it out. Also, we have a podcast.
Don't do whatever you want.
Do whatever you want. We don't mind.
Don't get up some Alison Mack nonsense.
No, don't do that.
We don't like that at all.
You can marry a man named Frank. We don't care about that. That part's fine.
That's right.
Yeah. Also, we talk Superman 2025 in our latest episode of The Weekly Planet. That's our podcast where we talk movies and comics and TV shows. It's on its own YouTube channel. It's on Spotify. It's on Apple if you do want to check it out.
I do.
Thank you so much to Ben and Lawrence for the edit.
Thank you, Ben and Lawrence.
Happy Superman, everyone.
Happy Superman, everyone.